Hey, what up guys, Sam here. And what I want to talk about today is meta level awareness. I just tried to say that word about 17 times, did not work, but the idea of meta level awareness is that we put ourselves in our own body. We think about our own things, our own problems, and we do not consider any other person's problems. We have the inability to consider other people's problems, and it's a low status trait that a lot of low status individuals have. What I want to do is take that needy, validating, taking mentality and start to rewire your brain to think, how can I offer value? How can I give this person value? How can I give this person value? Because I promise that if you consider this and start to implement it in your day-to-day life, this is a trait of a high status person, and a lot of people will want to be around you. A low status individual is a taker, has a taking mentality and does not offer value. Getting you out of that mentality of being a taker, of having this idea and this need for this validation from people, and becoming a high status individual by understanding what it is to offer value and not take value from people. So you've probably experienced once in your life where someone has walked inside of a room, a party, an event, or any sort of area where there's a lot of people, and people gravitate and they just suck the attention out of the room. Like, oh my God, who is that? It might have been a beautiful girl, it might have been a beautiful guy, it might have been a celebrity, it might have been any single person, but they have this ability to create and stir these emotions within people, basically doing nothing. You can see that people are catering towards these people. They are trying to get validation from them because these people hold such high status. Now, when you understand a few key principles, this is very, very easy to replicate yourself. There's only a few key principles that this person has either grown up understanding or has embarked on a journey to cultivate these few key topics today. Now, when I moved up the Gold Coast in Australia, I didn't really know too many people, and I really knew about one or two people. That's it. I moved from Sydney, where is my hometown. I cultivated a whole social circle and sort of put myself around the highest people with influence. We call them our influencers, or we call them our mini celebrities and this and that. Basically people that are high in a lot of socially, we're talking about people that have been in a lot of social interactions, have a lot of social status, or people consider them as high status. So when I moved up the Gold Coast, I had none of that. And I was like, how am I going to cultivate something like this? And when I realized these two principles that make becoming a high status individual so key, everything changed for me. So there was a little clip that I saw the other day, and it was of a guy that was interviewing Machine Gun Kelly. And MGK wasn't really interested in the interview. He's probably done 40 or 50, and this is just another interview with a 21-year-old kid from a company. Really didn't faze him until the guy said a couple of key words and a sentence that really triggered Machine Gun Kelly to go, whoa, and it really took his interest. And it was something that was eye-opening with this perspective and this filter that you look at. You're like, I can see what actually happened in this interaction. What it is that kid offered something that not a lot of people can offer this person. He'd done some research into him, and he actually gave him some value. Now, the value he did give him was, hey, I'm not just another person trying to leech off you, trying to get information from you and take. He actually says, hey, I've done some information and would like to know a question that not a lot of people ask you, or not a lot of people have any interest, and I'm going to give you a little bit of my value that I've actually done some research into you as an individual. And that's why you could see him, as he said it, you could see the energy almost go onto MGK, and then him to like do almost a 180 to be like, oh, how do you know about that, And it's a real good clip, and I'm going to show some more clips too about this idea of value exchange.
Travis Scott, did you have a teacher called Mrs. Here?
Whoa. My Spanish teacher? Is it from high school? Yeah. She had the big titties. And she was actually Spanish. I wonder where the fuck she's at. That's fucking crazy. How the fuck you know that, bro?
You're Travis Scott. We have to know.
It's fucking crazy.
Tyler, could you please tell us, Canada, is your mom half Canadian?
Yeah, her. What the fuck? How do you know this shit? Yeah, my mom's mixed. Yo, shit. What the fuck?
So this is the very first principle about value exchange. There is a kind of an esoteric ether, we'll say, that lies in any social communication. And what I really look at it is a bank account. So you have a bank account, you meet someone new, and your bank account's at zero, right? by you giving them value. Hey, let's go out to a party, let's go out to some friends. Hey, I've got a few girls in a booth. Hey, we're gonna go jet skiing. Hey, we're gonna do this. You should come, you should come, you should come. You're offering them to take them to new experiences, right? You are putting money into that emotional bank account. So it's an emotional bank account, and it's filled up with emotions, it's filled up with value, it's filled up with experiences. So it's all these things, because like a bank account, you get your paycheck from this, but you also might get paid from something else. Someone might deposit something. You're always getting money from different areas. Well, at least I hope you're getting money from different areas. You know, as they say, Ty Lopez says you should have 5 sources of income. So let's just hope we all have 5 sources of income. So anyways, so this emotional bank account sits there, and when you offer, hey, let's go do this, you're giving value to your relationship with this other person, you're giving value to this other person. And when they say yes and you go do an experience, that's a positive experience from both of you. Now, if the same guy keeps going, you should come here, you should come here, you should come here, and the other person isn't doing anything except saying yes, 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 or even start to take advantage of it. But when the relationship is that the other person is taking a little bit more than he's giving into the relationship, the person that feels like he isn't getting any sort of bargain, it's like a bargain, he isn't getting the right end of the deal, the emotional bank account is going to drain. Now, in order to sustain a good friendship, a good relationship, anything like that, there's got to be an equal share. So it's going to be a 50% in, 50% in, 50% in, and you can draw on at certain areas. Now, a lot of the time, a low status individual will find that a lot of friends bounce out, dip out, don't want to hang out with them. And they're like, why isn't this? A lot of relationships guys or girls might get into, they're like, well, what about this person, and they left me, and this person left me, and they don't love me, and this and all that. You know, this girl rejected me when I approached her, and all this stuff. And it all comes down to this value exchange, especially in relationships. If you are causing too much drama, if you're taking too much money out of that bank account, the other person doesn't see why they should be in that relationship, that friendship, because it's not worth keeping it. You're actually almost draining their bank account, their other separate bank account, by the things that you're doing. So you really got to understand, okay, now I have to give value. Now, what does value mean? So you've probably seen with 2 people when they're having a conversation and you see that one person is talking and then the other person is talking, but then you've seen other people where one person is talking and the other person is just, this hamster wheel is running in their head. It's just running and running and running, and they're only just waiting for them to be able to talk. And it's like, yeah. Oh, cool, you had a good day? Yeah, but my day was even sicker. Like, I did all this. And you've probably seen them. And one of the people that I've seen, one sort of personality I've seen is the one-upper. You tell a story, and they've already thought of a story that one-ups your story. And you tell this like, yeah, I went out and it was like this cool, you know, it was like I surfed this like 6-foot wave, blah, blah, blah. And there's like, yeah, well, I surfed a 12-foot wave. It was crazy. It was in freaking Tahiti and this. So they've always got that one story, and it sort of sucks all the energy out of it. So something like that is they're trying to win the conversation. They're not going into a conversation where it's to elevate the mood. Now, that's what generally every conversation is, to generate the mood and to elevate it. And every cool status or cool individual dude or guy or girl does that. When you're sucking all the energy out of it, you're draining that bank account, and that person just doesn't want to associate with you. Especially when you start a new relationship with someone, there's not that much money in the bank account, so it's quite easy to draw it. And that's when I say like first appearances or first interactions with people are very necessary, and that's because there's literally nothing. Like the bank account is like at zero. It might be $1 or $2 or something like that if you want to put a monetary value on it. And what happens is that when that gets drained, people don't want to fuck with each other. You know, it's like, have you ever heard of someone, they're like, oh, I don't fuck with them anymore. Like, they're just weird. They got like, just weird things. That's because you've lost status in their eyes. Number one, you don't have the status. They might think, okay, he's a bit lower status than me. He's taking. And it really, if we can really harp on this, what it is to be taking, it's like, I'll give you an example of 2 people. It's like I had this one kid who wanted to come around us, and he would go out of his way to get us things we need. And like we were chilling, me and my roommate, and it was like he would bring some vodka up, he would bring some girls up, he would have fun. He would say like, we've got this event, we should go here. And he was really trying to get us involved. And this new kid was in a new friendship with us, and he was really trying to help us succeed and help us as a group. And then you had this other kid who we had to ask to provide some value to us. Otherwise, he was just taking. And then when we asked, he didn't even feel obligated. He was like, oh, do I have to, and all this. And so you see him and you're just like, well, it's a new friendship. It's like, I don't really care anymore. Oh, well, I don't really care. It's like, you've got to offer an equal share of value, like I said, with the bank account. And if you don't, and one person is draining it, and there's multiple ways to drain a bank account, emotional bank account with someone. So let's talk about a few ways that someone can drain an emotional bank account with you. So in Adam Grant's book, Give and Take, he talks about there's 3 different metrics of people. One is a giver, one is a taker, and one is a matcher. So a taker obviously takes value for himself or herself. It's all about me. A giver gives everything to other people, and a matcher is someone that I'll do something for you if you do something for me. So most people are matchers, some people are takers, some people are givers. You really want to be on that giver's side. Take example, someone like Dan Bilzerian. Now, Dan Bilzerian is a high status male, and girls just flock around him. You see him on his Instagram, you see it in videos, and they just want to be around him. Now, Dan not only holds his value as a male and sustains his value, keeps it going, he also, any girl that associates themselves with Dan Bilzerian, he increases their value. So in the girl's eyes, he's a very high status male. Now, that's just one example. Any celebrity offers so much value and brings other people up with them. And that's what you want to really create, that sort of celebrity-like or that influencer-like aura about you that gives so much value to people, that offers so much of themselves and their assets and their sort of influence, and brings other people up. So even if you don't have any of that, even if you're starting from square one, the thing that you have is time, you have energy, and even if you don't have every resource like money, like connections, like anything like that, just offering your time for free and any sort of monetary value or money that you might have to be around to help this person out is offering value. So if you want to get around someone, let's say a high status individual, do you reckon going up to him and be like, oh, help me become successful, help me become successful? That's not the way you want to do it. But instead, you went around it a completely different way, like Adam says, and be that giver and say, how can I help you? Now, life, you can't always be a giver. You give so much to yourself and people will take. And you've seen that in life. You've probably been a victim of that in your life. So there is a subtle nuance and a balance between giving and taking. Now, it's okay to take sometimes, or be, as Adam says, that matcher where I'll do something for you if you do something for me. It's okay, but you've got to know the social nuances of how to get around people that have higher status, or how to become a higher status person by giving a lot more of yourself. So we're going to talk about the high school party rule. You can leverage your house, your space, or whatever to throw a party to increase your social status. You can go from a C to an A very, very quickly if you throw a party. Now, you know that. You've seen movies like Project X. You've seen literally hundreds of school parties or college parties and stuff like that. Now, I'm going to give you a story that I did when I was 18 years old. I thought, okay, I'd like to, increase my social status a little bit. And what does everyone like to do? Well, everyone's 18. They like to party, and they're young. They like alcohol. They like girls. Why didn't I throw a party? And it just happened to fall where school had finished in November and my birthday party was January. So it was a bit of time where people didn't see each other. And I thought, hey, this is a nice reconciliation of everyone. And it also, I could bring a lot of people that I knew. And I just kind of hit up people to bring other people. And I invited most of my whole school. And I did this with thinking, okay, how can I offer people value? They haven't seen each other. I'll give it a try. And it happened to be one of the biggest parties of that year. And I increased my social status pretty significantly from about a C to an A. Everyone knew who I was. Everyone talked about that party, that infamous Sam's 18th birthday party. Again, I didn't leverage it, but I gained a bit more social status from it. So that's the high school party rule, by offering value to people with the resources that you have. I know Gary Vaynerchuk talks about one of his friends. His parents weren't around, so they leveraged the house that they had to make parties. Elon Musk, how did he make money? He actually threw parties before he ever started a business to get money and charge $5 for people to come into the house and party with them. Again, popular group Ray Shrimmer, Sway Lee and Slim Jimmy, what they used to do before they were ever famous was have parties in their abandoned warehouse. They didn't have a house, they had an abandoned warehouse, and they used to charge people to go there, party with them. So you got to use your resources to be a giver. Again, as I said before, even if you don't have resources, your time and your energy are your resources. You might be young, you might be old. You know, I see a lot of people might be like, well, I'm old, I don't have those things, I don't have time, I don't have energy. It's like, they're the only assets you have, they're the only resources you have, please use them. So you've seen a lot of people on YouTube or another platform and they're giving value, they're giving free content out. Then you see some other YouTubers and they're like, hey, buy my course and I'll tell you the secrets to such and such. I'll tell you the secrets to get this or get that. Now, as I said before in the emotional bank account, what value are they giving you? They're saying, hey, would you like to get this? Would you like to get that? Would you like, well, buy my course, give me money and I'll tell you. So they're looking at that matcher exchange instead of giving value. So a company like RSD, a company like Gary Vaynerchuk, a company like Tony Robbins that gives out free stuff, any company or any business or any person that has given you free shit. If you have a look, Gary's put out more than 1,000 bits of content with practical, real advice. And then what he does is incurs this thing called reciprocity. Now, influenced by Robert Cialdini, talks about reciprocity. What you do for someone, they will feel in debt to, and they'll want to give back to you. Now, you're not using this to sort of bring this matcher mentality where you're giving value and they're giving value back because they feel in debt to you. What you're actually doing is giving value, and because the art of you giving value with no underlying thought of how am I going to get something back, or being that matcher, what are they going to do for me? If you just give value, the reciprocity rule will be applied to that person and they will feel in debt and they will go above and beyond to just give you value because you gave value without expecting anything in return. All right, so now let's talk about dating and how to give value in dating. Now, value is brought up in a lot of how we communicate with any sort of individual, but in dating and in any sort of relationship, let's say when you first meet someone, there's a few key principles, a few key elements that you need to understand. Now, value can be brought up with looks, money, social status, social value, how people perceive you. When a guy is going after a girl and he wants to pursue her for a relationship, there's a couple of key things that she looks at that guy's value, and that is reproduction and survival. So in evolution, back in the old caveman times, the guy with the highest social status, highest perceived value, the woman would be attracted to because he might have been the leader of the tribe. He might have been able to protect the tribe, as well as her survival was predicated on how strong this person was or how capable he was of bringing food to the table, or his social status, so he wasn't going to get kicked out of the tribe. And this is what the woman would see as key indicators and be attracted to these individuals. Now, it's very, very complicated now in our day and life because we have a lot more sort of ways that women and men both can perceive value from different people. Social media, Instagram, you've got a bunch of dating apps, you've got every sort of thing that still relies on these key principles. It's not like as if these matter. It's not like you have to be a 10 out of 10. It's not as if you have to be this, have to be that. But you can see at what type of man or what type of woman you are attracting simply by these 7 tips that I created about how to judge your social and your value as a person. So when you're looking at looks, what does it really mean by looks? It looks at health. That's what women are looking for. That's what even men, women are looking at men for, men are looking at women for. Health. Looks is pretty much an indicator of health. Now, monetary value, obviously when you're looking at survival, money in our society is very important. You can experience things, you can do things with this sort of money. And it doesn't mean if you don't have any, I would definitely be urging everyone to seek 5 sources of income, as well as being the highest version of themselves and looking to gain money. Even if that's not your priority, it's very nice to have, don't get me wrong. You can do things, you can talk to a camera like I have. Everything I have right now is money related. So we're looking at social status, how to be the highest version of yourself, how to have the highest value of yourself. Are people gonna hold you back if you get into trouble? Are friends gonna look after you if you get into trouble? It's like, how do people perceive you? How do your friends perceive you? Someone that they tread on or someone they look up to? That's what social status means. And obviously there's a couple other ones. Social proof, how do other women look at you as a man? And so there's a few other elements that go into it, but those 3 elements are what people judge, or what women judge value in a guy in today's society. Now we're going to go in more in depth in other videos, but that's a few key indicators. So I'm going to throw one more at you, which is state, how you can make someone else feel. Very important in business, in relationships, in friendships, in dating, how you can make someone else feel. Now, we look at this by even understanding this, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, being empathetic to them, literally taking a little, you know, metaphysically, taking a bit of yourself out there and putting it into someone else and seeing how they're feeling is offering value. Because you know then, how can I cater myself? How can I change myself, my social nuances, what I'm saying? How is it I'm making them feel when I'm saying these things or doing these things? And being socially aware of every single thing and how it makes everyone else feel is an indicator of status. Because if you can make someone feel or know when someone feels uncomfortable at any stage, or what makes someone feel happy, you know how to, again, make them happy again, or two, what you're doing that it's making them feel uncomfortable, or if they are uncomfortable by the scenario or the situation, you're able to cater the scenario or situation to make them feel better. Now, that's not placating and being so judgmental about another person or having to change yourself at every single moment that someone doesn't feel okay. But if you can slightly change yourself and slightly change the situation, people will know that, hey, this guy or this girl can understand social cues, can read social nuances, and really, he makes me feel good. And when they start to associate good, positive things about you, they become addicted and hooked on you. So this is what you can create, this addiction that people are addicted to being around you, this high status individual, because you make them feel so good and they have so many positive reference experiences with you. So let me give you some examples of giving some value without expecting anything and being that giver and not being that taker or that matcher. Now, number one is just giving a compliment. Now, you could say a compliment. I've given compliments in the past and they haven't worked. It's giving a compliment with no underlying expectation of anything back. So it's about having no expectation or no underlying thing like, please like me, please, if I give you this compliment, give me some validation so I feel better. It's about just giving the compliment because you think they look good, or you think you like their shoes, and just simply as that is very nuanced. It's about, you know, a lot of people do give compliments and they expect something back, or, you know, how was your day? Oh, it was good. And then they're waiting for, how was your day? Oh yeah, it was real good. I did like, and they want to share. They're expecting that back. But it's about that expectation of not wanting anything back. You're just merely giving value. And a great example of this is whenever I say you're meeting someone new, expect that the conversation, if you are starting the conversation with someone, it's going to be 90% you, 10% the other person. By you giving all the value, not expecting anything really back in return, and then still understanding whether they feel uncomfortable or not, still pinging off the situation, being like, how do they feel? Are they uncomfortable? But when you take that burden or the responsibility on, like it's you, you're giving value. Hey, I like that shirt. Hey, I like this, blah, blah, blah. Where are you from? Oh my God, you look like you're from here. You look like you're from there. I like this about you. You have this good vibe about you. And then really getting them to open up. So that's one example of something that you can do to give value. So number two is giving a smile. Just a genuine smile with good eye contact will go a hell of a long way, that is for sure. Just literally being like, and lock in and just give that smile, and your eyes are smiling also. You know, if you sort of crow's feet on the side, but you are giving that smile and that eye contact to them. Number three is open body language. Not being closed off, not talking to someone like this, because people can read body language and they know if you don't want to talk to them, you don't want to give value, if you're a taker. If I'm talking to you and I'm almost at the point where I want to leave the conversation, you can understand that I'm not giving you any value. I'm not even giving you my attention, my energy, my time. Number four is learning someone's name. Very important. People, again, are always in that taker mentality a lot of the time in today's society. So by someone telling them their name, they love it. They like to hear their name. Unfortunately, as creatures, we're still a little bit vain no matter what. You know, when you get that photo, or, you know, in that yearbook photo, the first person you're looking for is yourself. It always is. Now, come on, you can't lie to me. I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm the first person I look for. But hey, it's like people love their own name, and hearing it will make them almost remember you. Number six would be engagement. Engagement when someone is talking. Engagement and being present with someone when they are either conversating with you, where they are just expressing something to you, and literally be so engaged where you're actually giving eye contact, you're engaged with them, you're being present with them, and you might even be prompting them a little bit to continue talking about it and be deep dive into conversations. So a buddy of mine the other day was telling me a story, and his story goes, he was with a billionaire, not a millionaire, a billionaire, and this billionaire was giving him a house to stay at, unlimited amount of any sort of food, of alcohol, of anything like that. And he was thinking to himself, oh, fuck, how do I give this guy value? And the only thing he could think of was, bringing girls, bringing a good vibe, a positive attitude, and always thinking, how can I bring this guy value? How can I give him value? You know, tagging him in Instagram stories, actually taking photos of him when he wasn't looking, so it made him seem high value, or he was high value, but just making him feel, you know, superior and in charge, and always asking how can he offer this guy value, because this guy is offering so much value to him. Again, he subconsciously probably felt that law of reciprocity, and how can I give back? And that's what people, when you offer so much value to people, this law of reciprocity will happen and they will want to give back to you. But you are giving value with no expectation of receiving it back. Don't be that matcher, always just be that giver. Now we're going to wrap with this last thing. You might be saying, hey, if Sam, in the previous life I've had, you could be like, okay, we're going to wrap with this. So you might be saying, Sam, I've been a giver and I've given a lot of stuff to people and people walk over me. And that's okay, because what we're talking about is balancing a fine line where you are giving a lot, but still understanding if you are not getting the value, or you being taken advantage of from that value, feeling that and understanding that, and then withdrawing that value. Because sometimes in life we have people that are takers, and they will take for as long as they can possible. They'll take as much as they want, and we've got to be okay and understanding and literally plan for that people might take advantage of us, and understand if that happens, it's okay to let that person go, that friendship, that business connection, that relationship go, because the value exchange, as I said, the bank account is just in your favor. Now, I know I've had some friends in the past, and literally for a long time it was just me. You know, I would be checking up on them, I'd be doing everything, I'd be organizing it, and after a while, that bank account, the only deposits that were being made into that bank account were from me, and there would be no takes, no other deposits, there would just be nothing. And after a while, it was okay to let that friendship go. So it's balancing a fine line where we're knowing that I'm offering a lot of value to this person, this person's not appreciating it, and he's not offering any value back. So it's understanding those things. So it's Sam here. I hope that you got something from this. I hope that you understood a little bit more about value, the exchange of value, the bank system that I learned about depositing sort of value, depositing ones in there with good experiences, with high status friends that you might have, or just asking people to come around with you. Hey, we're going to go do this, doing fun things, and incorporating other people, as well as a few stories of people and how they were giving value to others through dating, through business, and all sorts of things. So it's Sam here, and I'll see you in the next video.